Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another late night hardcore hogging tip from here in the harsh lighting of the tackle room. Much appreciated you guys taking a few minutes to join in. And today I'm going to give you guys some good tips on one of my favorite fall time lures that most people don't fish in the fall. Most people think of it as some type of a pre-spawn lure, and that's the lipless crankbait. I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish this thing, why it's so effective in the fall time of the year. Before we get started, just real quick here, just want to remind you guys a couple of different things. If you guys are interested in ordering some of this stuff or any other tackle, I'll include the Baitworks link here in the description. It's a great way to support the channel if you'd like to do that. And also, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and please share these videos. It's a great way to show your support for the channel, and it'd be much appreciated. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the lipless crankbaits. Lipless crankbaits, guys, they have been around forever. I remember first trolling with them. My dad used to take me down to Grand Lake, and we'd troll for white bass with these things called swimming minnows, which were basically, it was a lipless crankbait. Some people called them bio boogie, but the ones we use were swimming minnows. But it was the same thing. It was a lipless crankbait with the same lip on it, the minnow design. So they've been around for a long time. Eventually the rattle trap came about, and it's been a sort of a mainstay in people's tackle boxes for a long time. But for the most part, when people think about lipless crankbaits, they're thinking it as some type of a pre-spawn lure, particularly like fishing it over grass beds. That's where it gained fame. It gained fame in those southern reservoirs, the Florida lakes, the Texas lakes, that type of stuff, the red rattle trap fame, fishing this stuff over the top of the grass during the pre-spawn time of the year. But what has happened, it's sort of been like the jerkbait a little bit. People experimented with it, and they realized that a lipless crankbait, it can be effective all year long, but particularly it's really good in the fall time of the year. And this is one of my favorite time of years to fish it. I like to fish it like everybody else during the pre-spawn, but during the fall time of the year, I catch a ton of fish on it. The one that I use more than anything else is this Megabass Vibration X. This is a 3/4 ounce model. They make a smaller model, but I really like the 3/4 ounce model because I can cover a tremendous amount of water with it. And even though it's a 3/4 ounce, it's not like a big 3/4 ounce rattle trap. It's got the body size of like a 1/2 ounce on it. And I'll put this in the fall time of the year on usually 20 to 25 pound test fluorocarbon line, heavy line, because I'm fishing it shallow. The places I like to look for this, and what I'm looking for during the fall time, is a lot of it depends on the water clarity that I'm fishing. Now, I'm not talking about fishing this around grass beds, although it can be effective. The places that I'm talking about fishing a fall lipless crankbait is on the same places that you throw a crankbait or a chatterbait or a spinnerbait. Rocky banks, wind-blown riprap, wind-blown points, flat banks. Flat banks are one of my favorite ways and areas to look for the lipless crankbait in the fall time of the year. To me, it starts getting good in late summer, right about now, when the water levels in the lake they're normally starting to go down a little bit now. A lot of times they're a little bit high during the summer. A lot of lakes keep their lakes at summer pool, which is a little bit high. But come September, there's usually some type of a drawdown, and that's when these lipless crankbaits first start getting good. When the lake that you're fishing starts to fall a little bit, doesn't have to fall much, but it's just when it starts to fall, and when you start getting a little bit cooler nights, not cold, but I'm talking about when you start noticing the nighttime temperatures dropping a few degrees and that water temperature first starts beginning to decline. It can still be in the 80s like it is right now, the water temperatures, but once it starts to decline, going down to 81, 82, 78, down from there, it gets better and better in the fall for these lipless crankbaits. So the first thing I like to do is, if you're fishing man-made reservoir, and I'll sort of gear this towards man-made reservoirs right now, just for the sake of not having to cover every environment out there, but almost every man-made reservoir does have it. You've got major creeks in these man-made reservoirs, and within these major creeks, there's always some type of flatter banks, and they're normally towards the back end of the secondary coves, back into the creek coves, back into the major creek itself. And usually you've got some smaller rock, gravel, it can be mud, it can be sand, but the topography in a lot of these creeks starts to flatten out towards the back. And there's also a lot of shad that starts to move in here in the fall. I was up in one of the major creeks at Table Rock today. Back end of it, there's shad, it's wall-to-wall shad back there. That's typical for this time of year, and that's your indicator for when these lipless crankbaits start to work. When you start having that shad starting to move towards the backs of the creeks and the back of the coves like they are in a lot of the lakes right now, that's when I'll take the Vibration X. Any type of lipless crankbait, you know, I like the Yozuri Rattling Vibe's good, the Rattle Trap's good, a lot of different ones out there. But I'll get on these flat banks, and not only will I fish the bank itself, but I'll fish the flats. If there's any shallow flats in the back of these coves, if it's less than 5 feet of water, a lot of times these bass in the fall will get out there in the back of those coves in the creeks, and they'll roam out in the middle, like in 3 to 5 foot of water, just in the middle of the creek. And a lipless crankbait is one of the top lures to catch them under those conditions. Now, that works pretty good for early summer. As it gets cooler in the fall, like it starts to get into October and November, when you start to have a significant water drop, that is the time I like to move back out into the main lake part of the lake. And I like to find a little bit off-colored water. So normally I like to concentrate in the mid-lake portion to the upper portion of these lakes. I get on the main lake and I look for windy points. The points can be flat points, they can be 45-degree angle points, they can be steep points, but I'm looking for the wind. And the wind makes these lipless crankbaits deadly in the fall, like October and November. You know, anytime you got like a strong, 15, 20 mile an hour wind, it's one of my favorite ways to catch them, is just running and gunning main and secondary points that have some wind on them. So anyway, another good place that it works is you've got a lot of shallow rock. If you've got a place that's got a lot of riprap, a lot of shallow rocky banks that you normally would throw like a square bill crankbait on, try the lipless on there. The lipless will catch fish behind those square bill crankbaits. But add it into your arsenal, guys. If you're fishing shallow water, if you're fishing water visibility anywhere between like 2 foot to 5 foot, and you're in water that's less than 5 foot deep, I can promise you that you can catch some fish on a lipless crankbait in that situation. It's one of the best baits that you can use also in the fall time of the year if there's a lot of fishing pressure in the area. Sometimes I'll go to the smaller sizes. Like I said, this is 3/4. Sometimes I'll downsize to like a little 1/4 ounce size here. Let me see if I can find a smaller one. And I mean, I'll even go to like a little 1/4 ounce rattle trap or something in some situations. I'll get one right here. Like this little 1/4 ounce rattle trap here in like a little Tennessee shad like that. This is one of my favorite fall time baits here. You can see the size comparison between the 3/4 and the little 1/4 ounce one here. It's quite a bit smaller here, but this little 1/4 ounce rattle trap fished around shallow rocky banks with some wind on it is also deadly. So give it a try, guys. Get out your lipless crankbaits, put on some heavy line with it, get on those flat banks, and just see what you can catch on it. Because I promise you'll catch them just as good or better than about anything else. So let me know how it goes this fall, man. If you guys get on them, shoot me a comment. Let me know how it worked for you guys. I hope it helps out, and we'll be back soon with another tip. See you.